core education in the breakouts with very tangible things that you can use to be successful. You'll get new technology ideas. In fact, when Connect started, we had the dot-com bust. And we didn't have a lot of customers left because the traditional industry didn't like us too much. But technology is the core of Inman. It's the very fiber. It's in our DNA. And you'll get tons of technology. And I'm going to start and try, throughout the next few days, you're going to get inspiration. Because people that go out every morning without a paid job, without health insurance, without all the benefits, and get paid by commission, need to be inspired. And we're here to do that. Not phony baloney inspiration, but real inspiration. So that's my promise. In the middle of the year, they'll stop raising rates, and maybe by the end of the year, we'll turn the corner on it. Let's hope. And it looks, again, like recession may not be part of the economic suit, but we'll have to see. But my optimistic note is there's light at the end of the tunnel. You know, there is a moment, I don't know about you, November, December, I was going, yes, I think it's the end of the world. I mean, it felt like that, right? At different times with COVID and the economy. I don't know about you, but it's like, ooh, this is going to be a slog here. This could last a long time. But now I'd like to talk about something else before I get started. 10 years ago, I had a metamorphosis in my life. Unexpected. I met this amazing woman, Yaz. We got married, and we went on our honeymoon in St. Bart's. We really couldn't afford it back then. You know, that's where the celebrities go, and the yachts, and the movie stars. But oh, is it beautiful. It is beautiful. We had a great Airbnb near the ocean. But that particular week, guess what happened? Like the monarch butterflies in California this past few months, it was overcome with butterflies. Now, Yaz and I both thought they were there for our honeymoon. But it was so beautiful. And Yaz and I both said to each other, we didn't really know much about the butterfly. In fact, I read recently like 70% of people don't know the arc of the life of a butterfly. But one thing we learned is butterflies only live 2 to 3 weeks. They give us this amazing experience, their arc of life, and this overwhelming beauty. And their story from a common, colorless caterpillar eating her way through the garden to this exquisite winged creature of delicate beauty, so delicate. A butterfly is a perfect metaphor for transformation and hope. Are you ready? The secret. There's 103 of these, but I'm not going to do 103. These are simple things that will contribute to your life being transformed. Are you ready? Yes. Treat yourself to a KFC $5 pot pie. Just do it. Let go and do it. Have you seen that ad? Who doesn't want to run to KFC? Okay, here's a harder one, but do it. Be part of the Unfractured Society. Change your position on a controversial issue. Just try it. So liberating. 3, every single morning you wake up, splash cold, freezing cold water in your face. This is a simple one, guys. 1 hour a week, volunteer. 1 hour a week, volunteer. If you're obsessed with fairness, find a new obsession. Okay, ready for this one? Yaz and I practiced this when we were in Italy. Stroll like the Italians. Do you ever watch those people? They walk so slow. They observe everything. They're so calm. American. Okay, ready for this one? Duck the tough stuff today, but face it tomorrow. Excellence is worth the effort. It really is. Wear clean socks. You'll feel much better. Give the biggest bonus to the person who cleans your toilet. Think about it. That person, they deserve the biggest bonus. Buy a one-way airline ticket. So liberated. I have only bought one-way tickets for the last 3 years, and I can't tell you how. Just the uncertainty of it all. Stop fretting about Biden, Trump, and Elon Musk. They don't deserve your precious time. They really don't, gang. You're more important than all of those characters. Don't overthink your business. If you're here, you know what to do. Just do it. Hope is for church, not business. Life-work balance is totally overrated if you love your job. My whole life, I love my work. I love being up here. And I know I didn't have a life-work balance, but my kids turned out great. So it's just an overblown concept. I know half of you don't agree. You did yoga this morning. I'm impressed. Here's an important one, and this is why too many people are alone. Don't define a good relationship by what you have in common. When I met Madame Yaz, she couldn't have been more different than me. Okay, here's one. Worry less about your kids. You know why? It doesn't help them one bit when you worry. Worrying is not what's important to them. By the way, being perfect is not worth the trouble. It really isn't. Here's a good one. Very simple. You can do it in a week. Surprise a busy friend, pick them up at the airport. You know what a hassle it is to land at the airport and to have a friend there waiting for you, not tapping Uber? Okay, dream big, but do something. While you dream big, wash your car. Okay, here's an important one too. Dress for style first, then comfort. Styling your dress shows respect, like being on time for the person you're with. People in Europe just cannot figure out Lululemon on planes. Like, what is going on? You know you're comfortable, but you look terrible. Either write that damn book or just stop talking about it. If you've never fallen madly in love, just meet more people. It's a numbers game, gang. You'll run into that person. If you sit at home waiting, ain't gonna happen. This is hard, but do it today. Forgive an enemy. Just forgive them. Visit a neighbor who lives alone. Easy. Just go knock on the door, bring them cookies. This one's simple. Smile more, and you'll look younger. Just try it now, all of you. Oh my God, where did all these young people go? Okay, hard one. Be cynical, suspicious, skeptical, and wary always. You got it? Clean those throw blankets. It's easy. Throw it in the wash or take it to the dry cleaners. They smell like shit. I know many of you, and I have a whole brew of grandchildren. This is for you all. Hug that crazy-making 3-year-old that's bouncing off the walls. Look them right in the eye. That disapproval look I got my whole youth from my parents. And say firmly, knock it off. Okay, and I'll end with this. Finally, stop taking yourself so seriously. And let go of that crazy-making stuff in your head and enjoy life. And then we'll all be transformed. Thank you, I love you.
I'm sure many of you in the sales space and have just really been fascinated with watching the trends and paying attention to what's happening in our universe. Love these Inman events because it keeps us connected and fingers on the pulse of the industry. So that's who I am, and I would love for our panelists to introduce themselves and share a little bit about their background.
Our businesses, most of us, like the majority of us, Your business, 80% of an agent's business is driven by no more, right, the bulk of it, by at least 3 lead generation sources.
When they have color commentary about the viaducts, and then they, after that, they bring on somebody else. So you're gonna, any color commentary on what these two said about anything you disagree with, or any.
Well, they're brilliant guys. I mean, they've built great businesses, and it's great hearing the commentary about where Rupert Murdoch was in the mix back in the day, and how that all came about. And so that was fun to see. I think the one thing that I think is a brilliant move by CoStar to buy that. I mean, they're.
You do think it is?
I think so. I mean, Realtor.com is an iconic brand. It's been around forever. I used to be on the broker advisory board for Move, which was great to sort of just hear the internal workings of how they were approaching it. And so what will be interesting is to see how it all plays out. I've heard that what they're doing with Homes.com is sort of getting rid of all of the sort of advertising, pay-to-play kind of stuff to kind of build. It's almost like the radio station that doesn't do commercials for like a year to build up the audience.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what's going on right now with Homes.com. So I suspect they'll do something similar to kind of build up that huge mass of what would be fans of what Realtor.com is doing now.
Yeah.
I think a lot of agents have felt that portals in general gouge agents and are simply trying to maximize revenue. I think it'll be really interesting to see if they do come in with basically a low cost, no cost strategy, how that would play out, in a company.
Do you think that's possible, where he'll go into that to talk about the agent and the agent's life and their well-being and how you think about it, and maybe leave people with something they can take home?
Right. So, like a lot of agents, I didn't take care of myself while I was putting deals together and all that type of stuff. So real estate's a really tough business on people we care about, nights and weekends. It's also tough on our health. We tend to not eat right because we're just busy. We have, a lot of us will have lots of health things go on. And even so, as an exec, by 2019, I was 225 pounds. I was suffering with a whole bunch of indigestion issues. I didn't know what was going on. The doctors weren't figuring it out. And so I just went on this big health journey. So I was focused on exercise and then improving my diet, intermittent fasting, and then I went to a couple events that I spent a lot of money to go to where it was the cutting edge of health. And I'm like, this information needs to get into our ecosystem. And so we started to look at how do we bring some of this to our agents. And so that's what we did.
Did that work, or did they kind of?
Oh no, we've a lot of our agents. By the way, we've had a kind of a health focus for a while. We're the only company that provides a health insurance like benefit to our agents.
Who pays for that though?
The agent, yeah. But they're getting it at 40% discount versus what they get through, say, a Blue Cross Blue Shield. But they're getting. I mean, we have one agent who had COVID, 19 weeks in the hospital. We had to pay $1,000 toward a $4 million bill. So we built in some of these things around health, and so I've always had this focus on how do we get healthier. Again, focus group of one. If I'm trying to get healthier, and what I realized is that I was vulnerable with some of the stuff that was going on for me. Agents were coming up to me and saying, "I'm so glad you were talking about health because it's so many people are quietly suffering, and you don't want to actually share what's going on for them because it makes them look weak and whatever." But there's a big population of agents that don't have good understanding of what to do next. And so for us, I just wanted to kind of point the direction. Here's what I'm doing. Here's what I'm learning. Here's what I'm taking. Here's that type of thing. And it's been phenomenal. We've got thousands of agents who are now sort of following me on this journey. And the number of people who come up with me in tears saying, "Thank you for helping on this front. This is what I've been looking for," and it's worked for them.
Leave that part out, so we'll skip that one. Our partners' results, strategies that you can start today, so you will learn something at least, and a little bit more about myself, and then how we can work together if that's an option that you want to explore. So here's the deal. I mean, we were brand new agents, Travis and I. We both started around December of 2020, and so here you can see our stats. I always think it's interesting. We get up at these shows, and all the people on stage have billions of dollars in sales and thousands of homes, and I'm like, okay, here we are, 2020, we sold 0 homes, and mainly because we started in December of 2020. And we released our first YouTube video on December 5th of 2020. And so the first quarter of 2021, guess what? We sold 0 homes, all right? So this is why you're here listening to us, because our great track record. But here's the deal. So it took us 90 days to get our first deal under contract. And we closed our first 2 transactions in April of 2021. And this is what happened in the last 9 months of 2021. We ended up generating 690 leads from the channel. We closed 64 transactions at a 9.2% conversion, just at $33.5 million in volume, and just at $1,006,000 in commissions in our first, basically the last 9 months of our first year. Thank you.
Intense with your message. My message is real estate. I also talk about dating. I talk about the Hawks. I love NBA. I talk about church. I have to get my seat. I'm a little bit crazy like that. And people, that shows people there's different dimensions to my personality. So don't just talk about real estate, but definitely make real estate your focus. Okay, I think we're getting close, y'all.
There we go, that works. Like, hold each other. Absolutely. Morning. Last day, day 3. You made it. We made it. Everyone made it. Thank you all for being here first thing in the morning. Yeah. So Brad Inman was here on Tuesday morning. Was everyone here in the room when Brad spoke Tuesday morning? Brad gave a talk in classic Brad fashion and offered, I would say, some sort of tidbits of life advice to the crowd. Okay. And Ryan didn't know I was going to do this, so this isn't totally fair. But I'm going to give you a couple of Brad's tidbits of life advice. Okay. I want to know if you agree or disagree, or have any thoughts on some of Brad's wisdom for living. Let's do it. First one: you should change your position on a controversial issue.
I mean, sure. I think we should all be open-minded, and you need to be able to hear what other people are saying and be willing to change your opinion as you hear new information. There's a lot of new information every day. Otherwise, you might be classified as stubborn. Right?
Okay, Brad says, if you are obsessed with fairness, find a new obsession.
That sounds mean. Yeah, I guess so. Life isn't fair, right? And the history books are written by the winners at the end of the day. But I try to be fair. I don't know if I'm obsessed with it, but I think fair, natural competition is a great way to build.
Great. Wear clean socks.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I have so many socks. These socks are clean. I see them.
And this one I think really spoke to the room, and maybe from here we can start talking about the business itself.
Yeah.
Brad says, I think he was talking to everyone in the room, don't overthink your business.
There's a cliff, but now we're crawling out of it. I think that's okay. I don't know yet whether we're in the eye of the storm for rates or not, but I think where there's a will, there's a way. And the system is built in such a way that we want to do more business. Banks want us to borrow money, right? The government wants us to spend money so that we can spend tax dollars. So they're always going to find a way to make everything okay. And so I think 2023 isn't going to be amazing, but I don't think it's going to be awful. I think it's going to be nice and volatile, which is great for everyone in this room. Because when a market's like this, one side of the deal is difficult. When the market's like this, one side of the deal is difficult. And also, when markets are like this, companies get invented that should not get invented. And then they crash and burn, right? Or get absorbed, or they have lots and lots and lots of trouble. And so, I'm excited to see who lives. It's like Survivor this year, right? It's like real estate Survivor, who's gonna make it? Because the ones who will make it will stand the test of time. And volatility is a great way to show your value to clients, because you can't just stick something on the internet and have it sell in an hour anymore, at least in most markets, unless you're in Florida. You lucky.
And on that note, thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Enrollment business. If you are a broker, owner, manager, you enroll agents that sell homes. You're not in the transaction business. You are in the human resource business. See, here's the thing you gotta know. I don't care if you're a vendor, you're in the tech business, people move the money. People move the money. You're in the enrollment business. We all are. Number two, you're not in the real estate business. You're in the execution business. No one in this room needs to learn anything new. And that's coming from a coach. That's coming from someone who gets paid to teach. What you all need to do is you need to be reminded more. I want you to think of something. I want you to think about those first years when you were in the business. Those years when you were making the cold calls, or you were door knocking, or you were prospecting at a very, very high level. You were doing the uncomfortable work so you could get comfortable. Raise your hand if any of you, when you started your business, you did very uncomfortable work so you get comfortable. And then you got comfortable. And it's okay. I'm not here to pick on you. I'm here to teach you. And what this comes from high performance. I'm in the high performance business. And the difference between high performers and those who are average, those who may be struggling right now, is work ethic. Work ethic has two definitions, though. I can promise you this. I can promise you that most, if not all of you, worked harder than ever in the last 3 years. Would you agree with me that you worked really, really hard? Respond to the consumer. Yes or no? Yes. That's pretty good. Interactive part. Yes or no? Yes. You guys are weak. And I'm older than most of you. I'm 56 damn years old. Come on. Yes or no? Yes. Awesome. But guess what? Work ethic has a second silo. And that second silo is the willingness to do the things that you don't like doing. You want to grow your business? Go back to the things that you did that worked in the freaking beginning. Ain't it great? You know what y'all are doing? Oh, the market. Go back to the basics. No shit. Wow, shocking. Shift. I mean, listen, my boy Lamaki is right here, man. He's been my homie for 6 years. He's boring. He does the same thing. He said the same thing. He crushes his stage. You love him. You guys, you need to get boring. You know what y'all did? Vendors, I love you. I love tech. But ready? You automated your way out of relationships. Boom.